within the halls and avenues of evil, ranks one of the greatest leaders that would plot the demise of Eternia. It is none other than Hordak himself, as his latest gimmick with the great and mighty invention and the work of the motherboard. They will plot to take over Eternia and use Skeletor as a pawn. It is Hordak that we will be reviewing today.
Super Dave here with another Super Dave review. Super Dave here with another exciting Masterverse Revolution action figure. That's right, we're looking at Wave 13 and Hordak. Wow, just take a look at this action figure. I mean, he looks just like he stepped out of the Revolution cartoon, really menacing there. You see the Horde troops back here. That's really cool. And that artwork wraps around the side. Over here you see his iconic staff there and some of the features that we saw in the episode. So he worked very closely with Motherboard. And then you see another really awesome artwork here on the bookend. There's a really good picture of him there. Then the full body shot, the evil Horde, Hordak. There's a product shot of him there. Really cool. And then there is a short bio. If you want to pause and read that now, you can. Then there's those other product shots there. Selling points, which we will be reviewing all of these in short order. Just be patient with us here. And we're looking forward to breaking open this Hordak action figure over here in a modified Snake Mountain setup. And check him out. And here we are in the throne room of Hordak, getting ready to take a look at his accessories. Let's first check out his hands. He comes with two balled up fisted hands. And they went back to the small peg with this guy for some reason. And then he has two weapon holding hands. One that's more like a pointer finger. And then a regular weapon holding hand. All of them are horizontally hinged. And then last and finally he comes with his Hordak staff, which really looks good. Has that bat Horde head logo there, like almost like the crown resting on a crystal ball. The spikes, it goes all the way down until it ends with a spike or a spear at the end. So really cool. It has kind of a gunmetal look to it with the black crystal ball there, a gunmetal handle with some silver trim. And then the back of it, you can see there the wings continue, not as much detail on the back, but there you have his iconic staff. Just take a look at our Hordak. His head, his facial features, looks just like he did in the Revolution series. I really wish they'd given us an open mouth or some kind of other expression, even maybe a grimacing or, partially open mouth look like he did in the series. Because he even had the iconic snort in Revolution. He had a very diabolical, more serious sounding voice. But he did. He had the snort like, Skeletor. He was Skeletor. He had that every once in a while. But he was definitely more powerful and kind of had a more of a tough motif than what we saw in, say, the Filmation Princess of Power She-Ra type Hordak with the blue, white, and red trim type Hordak, which we've already gotten that one in Masterverse, and you can check that one out in my review. But let's go ahead and take a look now at our Hordak's Articulation. All right, bringing our Hordak here in a little closer. You can see where I have equipped his His staff here, really cool looking. Really nice action figure. You can see the cape. And I don't think that's removable, but I've not tried. I believe all this is going to be attached because it's up underneath all of this. And these big shoulder pads. But it doesn't go all the way down, but it comes to a point. I mean, it's not really huge. I mean, I should say it does kind of basically come all the way down, but it's narrow and it's a little bit of a shorter cape than what we're used to seeing in some of the, you know, other soft good capes. But it's nice. It's thin, but it does the job. It has that red trim, iconic bat horde symbol on his chest. The head does seem kind of like with what I said about Skeletor, the Revolution, Skeletor just seems a little bit maybe small, but I guess it, you know, stays consistent with the rest of them. But you can get more detail out of this face and head than what we got out of the other in Skeletech. But let's go ahead and look at his head here. He's going to be able to look up a pretty decent amount considering that hood. He's going to be able to look down pretty good too. It's pretty good. And let's see, maybe a little bit of pivot, but not really enough to notice. Just more or less turning side to side, and that's limited because of this collar, but he can get, you know, a pretty good amount around there, so that's pretty good. Really looks good. You can see the neck, everything's very seamless. I really like the overall aesthetics of this figure and the way his chin does. I mean, he looks like Hordak, but more of a modern take on him, and he definitely looks like the Revolution series. So bravo, really good. All right, the arms will go all the way up to a T pose, so that's good. Not sure if they will they're not going to be able to really get 90 degrees unless you really bend that up. You could get it to go, but you know, I feel like it's putting a strain on this whole section here because this does lift up there. You can kind of see up in there where it looks like the cape, pegged in up underneath. So that cape is definitely not coming off, or any of this garb up top, but that's okay. But I'm just saying, you're not going to get 360, but we do have bicep swivels, so they didn't do this guy like they did King Keldor, and he definitely has the double bicep, so he gets better than 90 degrees there. So that's excellent. And of course, swivel and horizontal hinged at the wrist. All those wrists are horizontally hinged, and it's the same on this side. We don't have any parts that pop off, you know, to equip any kind of cannon or mechanism like we saw with the, I think it was New Eternia or Princess of Power Masterverse Hordak, the blue and white and red. But that I like the pointer finger. I'm glad they kind of went that route with this, kind of like with Skeletor. You have this part that comes off the chest here that's part of the robe, but you're still going to be able to crunch forward that much there. And then you're going to be able to bend back a good amount. It's going to make that kind of weird. I've been trying to kind of bend it because that's a kind of a stiff. Wish that was a little softer, that right there, because it's kind of, or maybe it would have been smart to even put a wire in it because it's hard to get it to go down. It wants to kind of curve upwards for some reason on mine. You see he's got the red belt under there. So you have the diaphragm, and it is going to swivel, really nice fluid tripod type motion underneath there. So you get the full range. I mean, really good. I mean, they have thoroughly over time improved these diaphragm joints for these figures in Masterverse, and then excellent with turning there at the waist. So you get so much articulation with these Masterverse figures. That's one of the things I like, and some of your comments have said the same thing. You're not going to get the full split there on the legs because this skirt does not really have a split in the back. Only split is in the front, and it's not enough to give him full splits, but that's okay. You do have the drop down method. It pulls up and down up the hip in there, so you're going to be able to kick up a really good amount. And you have, if I can get all that out of the way, you do have double jointed knees, which are very fluid and really well done, and the boot cut. And of course, you will be able to get full tiptoes, you'll be able to go up a decent amount, and excellent rockers with a peg hole. I don't think I mentioned it, but of course he also has the thigh rotation up in there too. So that is basically a full-fledged articulated figure there. The only thing is the head could have been a little bit better, but with the hood, I think it's considerably well done under those circumstances. I think that it has pretty good range of being able to especially, look up and down and side to side with all this going on up here. Because this hood, to my knowledge, is not going to be removed. It's not removable. All right? But there you have his articulation. So now let's do some comparisons. And to first take a look at our Hordak beside the Classics versions, you can kind of see that I believe they kind of took some memos or some points from Horde Prime. In this particular series Revolution, you don't really have the mention of a Horde Prime yet. It seems like really that Hordak is at the top, that he's the final boss, if you will. He's the main character. But in the original series, you had this giant metal, finger that kind of indicated that there was another man at the top, another leader at the top, Horde Prime.
You can trust me, Your Galactic Highness. Oh, can I now? Your performance against the rebellion has been less than admirable.
And this is the figure that we got, and I've taken off that big giant helmet that hid his face. That was the secret back in Classics day of what was he going to look like underneath. Just, he looks like an older Hordak, I guess, in a way. But you can almost kind of see some similarities with the outfit, the black robe and that kind of thing, but more of a techno, look with those metal-looking shoulder pads and chest armor. But the robe kind of is reminiscent of this. And then also, of course, he's patterned more after the Classics Hordak that was not the Filmation inspired here, that had more the yellow skull color, like old skull bone look to his head instead of the white, the bleached white look. And of course, this one not only had the staff, which I think they did a better job actually with the Masterverse staff than they did with the Classic staff. Just more detail and more quality to it, and it's even thicker. So that's kind of neat. A lot of times you see more quality in Classics overall to the figures, but I think they did a really good job. I think the quality of this character, not only does he have good articulation, but he has excellent plastic. It was really sturdy feeling plastic throughout this figure, and his accessories even seem a little sturdier and more quality than Classics, which is unusual. But we didn't get the little demon dude. Can't remember his name right off, but we didn't get that in this incarnation, as he can strap him on to his wrist there. Might could try putting him on his wrist, but we really didn't see him in the Revolution series, so it makes sense that they didn't include him in the accessories. But there you have Hordak, along with the Classic incarnation comparisons. And then taking a look at our Filmation style Hordak next to our Revolution Hordak, you can see the one from Classic Super 7 did an outstanding job giving us the Filmation style Hordak. Really looks like he stepped right out of the cartoon from the 80s. And then we have our Masterverse Filmation inspired Princess of Power style Hordak with the, you can put the, you had two different types arms, just like here. You can pop that arm out and put in a regular arm, and you can do the same with this one. You can pop out the arm that has the actual hand, or you can pop this arm in that has the cannon and attach things. But yeah, there you have a really cool, and his cape is a lot more wide and full, whereas this one's thin and narrow. This one has a lot more detail to the cape. It goes all the way to the floor. It has several points at the end, and it will spread wide on this cape. You can definitely see the difference. More of a Filmation style head. It's almost a pearl color here, whereas this one was just bleached white, just like it was in the cartoon. But it almost has a pearlescent shine, this particular Hordak head. And they went more with, I guess in the Revolution, they figured he would look more serious and more diabolical and tough if they went with the old skull bone look. But that's your Hordaks. All right. Thank you so much for being a part of this video and checking out this Hordak by Masterverse, Revolution style Hordak. And come back and see us again as we'll be reviewing Leech. And also, we're going to do some photos in that photo gallery. Be blessed.